settle in, enjoy this little bit of an intro. I'll be right with you. I just gotta plug this in. Do something very quickly in the other room. I will be doing this in better lighting. I just brought everything up here to start with. Because I had to come up here. Nobody's watching, but that's good. That's good. I know that, okay, nobody's here. That's right, huh? Okay, let's go downstairs. Better lighting. As cool as this is, some people might not like that it's dark lighting. I know I'm not super big about it, but it made sense in the moment, so. Look at that, I was under 5 minutes. I guess I'll say it to be nice to those who see after the fact, that I'm going to plug this in a moment. Nobody's here right now to hear it, but I'm going to plug this back in a moment, and it may briefly drop. But then it'll be back. Also, okay. So my kind of main thoughts that I had on this topic, I honestly did say in the previous video, but the connection dropped. I think, yeah. So so I'm rolling again, but don't really want to repeat them again. I mean, the title I think speaks for itself. Now you can speak for yourself. Don't make me speak for you. Just kidding. I'm just being goofy. Pretty much. It was too early for bedtime, so I did everything else I needed to do this evening pretty much. And it's like, you know. And also the other site that I used, which I guess you can put videos on, but it's mainly not a video site, was being a bit wonky on my device, which I also had to plug in. I don't have it on here. I was hoping to connect with a friend a bit more tonight, or a bit tonight, but we didn't firm anything up, and she hasn't been showing us online for a couple hours now. So, but I am kind of a little bit stressed about something for tomorrow, but I'd rather focus on it in the terms of having a conversation. There was somebody very briefly there, but I think I've talked to something about boredom before. I think I have boredom, and it mostly seems like he doesn't relate. So, I mean, maybe it came up near kind of the end of our slot a couple times, but that could be a third topic. Although I think that we've already got two good topics that we've to start this one off with. But boredom could be another one. Um, but yeah, and if you're not much of a TV watcher, um, okay, I was going to rephrase it for the person that was there, but they didn't stick around. If you're more of a YouTube watcher, I guess we could talk about your favorite YouTube channels or YouTube type of YouTube videos. But I also think that even if someone is not currently much of a TV watcher, that they have been, and at one point in time in their life, or at least have a couple favorite TV shows. But or is TV not a thing anymore? I mean, I know that the house across the street, I often see their TV on in their window, or so when I'm out walking the dog, I sometimes see TVs on in homes. So I know people still watch them, but you're meant to be here tonight if you're here, and I haven't been rolling super long, but I'm glad to have you here, and we'll make this an enjoyable show / conversation. But you laugh, so I did realize I was being ever so slightly maybe monotone, or maybe sounded like I had an accent, but people like accents, so what's the problem there? It's funny, I met a guy with a Australian Shepherd Retriever mix, and I said, speaking of Australian, do I detect an Australian accent from you? And I think he said he was from the UK, but also Montreal, which was kind of ironic because my brother is living in France, but he's also lived in the UK. Should have asked the guy where. I wish this messenger icon was showing in the corner of this. I mean, I can try and talk about the areas of my endeavors, and kind of we can see. But yeah, I'm okay talking with about either of the topics. TV shows, or the favorite jobs you've had. If you haven't had many, or you haven't had any you've liked, then and with that kind of attention span, I doubt that you have. That's good. It's really hit and miss, Yeah, the type of I don't like it like that. My neck was a bit chilly. I had the AC on, and I was kind of feeling it there. Dream jobs that you have would also be a good topic. Or another good topic I just thought about, which isn't quite either of those, but maybe, is bucket list items. Your thoughts on bucket lists and what's on yours. I don't know if I've ever done that topic. I think I have once, many months ago, but we could talk about it here. Like I say, I haven't had cable for a while, but I'm fairly familiar with a lot of TV shows. As far as dream jobs, I've said them in past videos. If you've not seen those, mine would be photographer, successful musician, doing more with life coaching. And as far as my bucket list items, I don't know if I've really thought of it very much. I know not that long ago I watched a movie where the one character had made a bucket list. It wasn't the bucket list, although I did find that right around that time too, but the DVD may not have played for me, or I can't remember. What would be on my bucket list? Also, I'm kind of curious why they call it a bucket list. I've never really thought of that. And is the bucket list with Morgan Freeman? I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson is in it. Because it's interesting, I actually saw Duck Day Brothers recently, and I once saw somebody do such a thing of him, but it wasn't the same person. What would be on my bucket list? That's a good question. Kind of like goals. I don't set them like I used to. or as much as I used to. Um, hmm. I don't know if there's anything that I am dying to do other than no, just kidding. No, I mean I'm not sure. Hmm. Hmm. That's a surprisingly hard question. I mean, I'd love to travel more, but the state of traveling right now, and you have to be able to afford it, and we have a dog that we'd have to worry about, what to do. I mean, I'm sure we could figure it out, but I don't know. So aside from the two topics that I posted about in the title, which we can totally talk about, and haven't been rolling super long, I'm trying to think of things I would put on my bucket list, and we can talk about bucket lists too. I was wondering why it was called that as well. I never thought of it before, but now that person better have just left that was there for like a few seconds to go look up why it's called bucket list. I can't do it while I'm rolling right now, so yeah, I don't know what I'd put on it. Hmm, what a stumper. Like I say, traveling. I've lost my desire for life. Well, sometimes. I mean, but like when struggling to think of things. I mean, certainly not like what they call it when you jump out of a plane with a parachute. That's not one. I know it might be a lot of people's because people say, "Oh, I just gotta put this down for a moment." Try everything pretty much once and that, but no, that wouldn't be one of mine. Um, Golly, I kind of my other device is upstairs charging right now, or I'd look for some examples. But you can put some in the chat, and that would be helpful. If you weren't here just a moment ago, I haven't been rolling super long, but welcome, glad to have you here. Aside from the two topics in the title, I'm trying to think of bucket list items. What would be on yours, if you'd like to say, and I'm trying to think of what I'd put on mine, and I'm struggling more than I thought I would, other than general travel. Because let's be honest. I mean, I haven't been much. I haven't traveled much in my life. Um, yeah, I'm in Canada, and I've been to Australia and seen a bit of it, not all of it. I've traveled to a lot of Ontario. I haven't even seen a lot of Canada. In Australia, except for when I was very young, I may have been in parts of the states, but when they may have been a bit better to be in, to be honest, in some ways. But that was so long ago that I wouldn't even count it. Um, we're in Ontario, Kitchener, London, Chatham, um, Peterborough, I think, possibly Cambridge, Guelph, I believe, once, Niagara Falls, Edmonton. Well, that's not. I don't think that. Um, and I'm bad with geography. Like maybe we shouldn't talk about traveling countries because, I mean, I mean we could, but I got to tell you, my geography is not great. So it's, um, gosh, I mean, some of them are connected to my career goals and just wanting to do more with that, but I don't know if that counts as a bucket list item. I guess there's no real rules as far as that kind of stuff goes, so maybe it does then. Sorry. I have a bad back tonight, and I'm trying to get these cushions right, and in a way that they don't look distracting on the screen, but honestly, I'd love to have this one behind me a bit higher up, but I don't want it to look funny. As I really did one, resonates with the way that I'm kind of feeling. I'd be like, hmm. And I have seen the movie, by the way, but it's been so long. I don't remember much of the stuff that was on it, to be honest. Um, yeah, I don't. Climbing to the top of a mountain wouldn't really be one for me either. Um, Climbing the stairway to heaven, maybe. You know, I mean, hmm. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna try a new method with this and look around the room and see if anything makes me think of anything. Hmm. My bucket list is to organize at home more, but I don't have a lot of company, and I'm not great at like organizing like papers and books and stuff. And everything else doesn't really need to be organized that much. So, and it doesn't mostly doesn't bother me. The other person in the house a little bit, but we both can kind of ignore it. And weekend by yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and as I mentioned some TV shows in the previous one. I mean, I was watching. Well, I was watching a sitcom just a little bit before this, and I don't mind it, but I don't know if I want to mention it. I don't think it's my favorite one. What would be my favorite sitcom? It's been a lot of them, and a lot of them are quite clever. I don't know if I have a favorite. Maybe that '70s show, but I haven't watched it much lately. Um, I was briefly getting into the Partridge Family again, but it's hard to find full episodes of that on even on here. Um, Although I found some. Um, Sitcoms. I know there's again. I'm drawing a blank. I've liked many of sitcoms in my day. um, but do I have a favorite? I don't know. Um, I know that G really doesn't. The other person in the house really doesn't like Seinfeld. I didn't hate it. Actually, that I used to like to watch as well, called Corner Gas. It was kind of funny and clever. Um, if I was to say one, people might think a certain something, and they may or may not be right. Um, but I haven't met any girls. Um, hmm. I know that a lot of people are counting down to a certain holiday, which probably makes them think of a bunch of shows, of which I wouldn't be into. Although I did watch Sabrina for a little while there. And I liked that show. I think it was simply called Medium, and then there was one called Ghost Whisperer. Other than that, I think that it's all kind of uh, faked for entertainment purposes, like ghost shows or whatever. Um, hmm. Again, everybody must be mostly watching TV. When there's a struggling YouTuber at the moment. Because this channel was dormant for a while, and then we kind of started back up again. But I always say there's so much on YouTube. And some people come in and they judge too quickly. You know, whether they're going to want to watch us or whatever, or they intend to come back later. And so, but, you know, and that's fine if they come and enjoy it later and comment. But I'm rolling right now, you know, if you didn't notice. So, putting a bit more lotion on. But, yeah. But yeah, no, everybody must be watching TV. Or doing other things in their life, but or doing YouTube videos themselves, perhaps. I would love to have more interactions with other people that upload content. It's not necessary that they do. I mean, I'm happy to chat anyway, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see some of my followers' videos. A lot of them don't have much on their channel. There's one guy. It would be funny if he's the person that just tuned in. He's musical and has some music stuff posted. Called Wayne, I believe is what he goes by. We went from one to I thought zero briefly, but three now. Yeah, so we're talking TV shows. We're talking our favorite jobs that we've had or would like to have that may or may not relate to the TV shows, and all three of you at the same time. I. I mean, it looks like it's recording just fine. That is so weird. It's so weird that that happens. It must just be irony, you know. Let's see. Um, is there anything else I'd like to say? I mean, it's still too early for bedtime, so I would like to roll for another half hour, to be honest. The other topic that I threw into this is, and I think three is probably good enough, but I mean, depending what suggestion there was, song request of topic, maybe we could add another one, but I think these ones are pretty fine enough. I think they're pretty good, pretty good conversation topics. Um, well, I still don't know what it out of my freaking ridiculous. I said flippin'. I'm also a free spirited, no filtered individual, so keep that in mind when you're following the videos. It is kind of nice in some ways to know that a lot of people that have kids are the same way. They're living as an adult and experiencing and expressing things that way, and we realize that we can't censor kids like the world doesn't. So um, yeah. Um, the other topic that I put into this is, and I've been rolling super long with this one, but is bucket list, and you left. My bucket list is to have 5 people chatting in the chat, live chat, while rolling at the same time. I mean, it's happened that there's been 3 or 4, which I know doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but I'm content with it. I'd be fine with that. Heck, I'm fine with 1 or 2. Just none of these head games at the top. That's what it feels like, and it might not. And it might not be. It might not even be anything personal. Um, but hmm. Another interesting kind of question connected to the TV one could be, what do you think would make a cool TV show concept? Maybe we could even collab. That would be fun, actually. That'd be a lot of fun. I remember in high school English class, we had been given an assignment by one of our teachers. I don't remember a lot of the details, but it was based on like analyzing TV shows or answering questions based on a favorite TV show. I thought it was such a cool concept. Just like when in grade school we all went into groups and we had to teach a lesson to the rest of the teach a class to the rest of the class. That was so fun too. I'm sure it made some teachers out of some of them, but not me. Would I ever want to be one? With I don't know. Working with such big bunches and of individuals at once, I'd know. I think I'd want to be one, but there's a part of me that would. I like to, pass. I like to give knowledge to people. I'd like to, you know, um, about topics. Um, I think I probably would in some ways like designing lesson plans for a class, but then marking and grading would be cool, the kind of things that people hand in, I suppose. That's what was in the middle and it was themed on that. Um, but no, it's not. It's not. I wonder how that works though. Like as far as like getting a education degree, like because a lot of teachers they only teach 1 or 2 subjects. It's not like they have to have them all. So, you know, and they probably go into it with interest to teach those two subjects because they're pretty good in them already, for the most part. So, but yeah, the bucket list question is still kind of stumping me. I just thought of one, but I don't think I would. I think I'd be too uneasy and easily distracted, and can't afford to right now. But owning a car might be one down the road. Down the road, literally. But pretty far down the road too. Um, well, it hasn't been super long, and there's been long gaps where there hasn't been anybody here. So I don't know. I don't know if I should continue with this one or wrap up and try and do something else. It's hard to share about that thing I went through earlier in some ways because, but honestly, it doesn't make me look bad. It makes her look bad. You know, and I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just trying to, explain the situation that happened. Um, but yeah, let me just look quickly at this and feel free to okay. And it's to a person who more fully, like I'll never forget the very interesting and lovely thing she did for me. This other person, um, barely even knowing me, it was the nicest thing. Um, and so, even though she's been a little bit distant lately, I mean, she's a good person and we have something very strong with each other. But back, anyway. You're like, well, that doesn't sound like a TV show unless you've met somebody famous. But it could have been the other topic. Maybe I was talking about a coworker, but it wasn't. Let me just pause this for a moment, and hopefully that's all it does. Okay, hopefully it's meant to be, and that the rest of this is enjoyable and a bit. Okay, I'm actually confused though. I was going to say a bit more interactive because when I went from one app briefly and came back to this one, it like a blacklit screen and a strip at the bottom. Now it looks like we're back and rolling, but again, what happened earlier too is it's not showing any of the setting menus. So I don't think it would show chat even if anything came in. I'm not even sure if I can wrap this up and save it. Just a moment here. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'm having a bit of a technical issue again, not necessarily with the recording quality, but just what my okay, never mind. Well, today's been a quiet day for podcasting. The little bit of it I've done, it has. But tomorrow is a new day, right? So I may or may not have a phone meeting in the morning, and that's about it. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on. When one, there's nobody here, and two, I'm not sure if this is going to get posted. I have to figure out how to. Although I do know how to wrap this up.